Gotcha. Sorry, JD.
That's okay. That's okay.
Middle of the shop interviews. That's how it goes sometimes.
I guess. It's,
Fine, you want to buy a guitar?
Hello, people of the world. Welcome back to another episode of Sam Sessions. We're back here in the Acoustic A Room of South Austin Music once again. I believe this is episode 19, so one more, and we got a 20 episode anniversary. Right here in this chair, you got the world's most sufficiently adequate interviewer. And to my right is a good friend of the shop, JD Pendley.
Hey, Seth. How are you today?
Now, I'm doing good, man. It's a pleasure to have you in here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Ever since we started doing these, I think like maybe 5-6 months ago now, I always wanted to get you in here. I think we told you about him right off the bat.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to finally have you in here, man.
Stars have aligned.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you were just talking a little bit ago about teaching lessons on Mondays.
Yeah.
How long have you been teaching guitar for?
I've been teaching guitar for a long time. I started teaching guitar in my teens at my parents' house while I was still in high school, and then I put myself through college teaching lessons and playing gigs.
No kidding.
So math is going to fail me, but I've been teaching guitar for a solid 25 plus years.
Wow.
Off and on.
Yeah. What are there any big lessons you've come across and learned through teaching?
One of the most important things that I've put into use and learn is that as a teacher, you need to be able to convey information in different ways. You need to have a variable approach because not everyone learns in the same way.
Absolutely. Did it take a while to get used to being able to do that?
Well, really that developed on my own personal end because as a guitarist or musician, I had to learn in such a way that I needed to really understand things at a cellular level.
Yeah.
I wasn't much of an ear player or not a natural musician at all, so I had to understand the whys and hows. Mm-hmm. So having done that, I think that helped me or enabled me to be able to explain things at varying depths to people. Mm-hmm. So it definitely served me well.
It's interesting because we were talking about it earlier today, and it seems that, your style of playing is pretty unique in the way that it's not always the conventional way that you'll play a certain chord.
Yeah.
You kind of have your own way of doing it.
Yeah.
Is that how you teach your students, or do you teach them whatever works best for them?
I have some students that approach me specifically for sort of the harmonic or chord related thing because they've seen me do a largely harmonic approach on guitar. And then I have some folks who are more in the just straight ahead learning to play. But the vast majority are mainly interested in harmony, whether it being the chords themselves or how to make the notes better agree with the chords. So chords come up a lot.
Where did that come from your playing? Let's say like the conventional way to play like an A chord. I assume you have your own little way of doing it.
I remember. That's a great question. When I first wanted to learn to play an instrument, when I guess I was about 12, before then I didn't even really like music except recreationally. I didn't have any interest in playing music, and then I got turned on to some Beatle records, and that was life-altering. But and my dad just had a Yamaha nylon string guitar at the house. I thought my fingers were too fat to play the guitar.
Yeah.
So I started thinking I was going to play the bass, and between tinkering around on a buddy's guitar and trying to learn a few chords, and the music shop just saying, you should start with guitar and then you can move to bass later. And I never really did, although I almost did in college. No, but I had to, as soon as I learned to replace 3 fingers with just one smashed finger,
that
helped me. Plus, I have my knuckles hyperextend, which is probably gross to show in camera.
Oh, no kidding.
So I was able to get my finger in there and get it to bend out. because my fingers do this. So it kind of is handy for playing bar chords. I remember when I learned to play a C bar chord, I was like, I got this. Get the first string all chimey and nice.
Yeah. So you said you started playing when you were 12.
It was just before I was 13.
Okay, wow.
I always remember because my first lesson was on my brother's birthday, November 16th. And the year would have been, I'll have to try and remember. I was born in 78, so it would have been about 90.
Okay, yeah. Do you remember, I guess the first guitar you played on was that nylon string. Do you remember the first one you bought?
Yeah, my first acoustic guitar was a Washburn Dreadnought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And at what point did you start getting so into Gibson? Because I know you as a person, you love Gibson guitars.
Yeah, we've kind of met during a Gibson phase, which I don't know, maybe tapering off.
Really?
I'm trying to get in touch with a Telecaster again.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I got my first Gibson guitar in college.
Mm-hmm.
I had an ES-175, an 82 ES-175 that I then traded for a 40s Epiphone, and then on went the the changing of
brands that you're into
of the guitars. Yeah, like I was gonna say like laundry, but I'm not that good at laundry. So
laundry.
I've had far many more guitars over the years, but I think it kind of started then.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Back in college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting. Because they kind of went through like their ups and downs as a company, right? Wasn't there a certain time period where it wasn't like Gibsons weren't the super sought after?
I think people frown on the 70s Gibsons, right?
Okay, is that what it is?
For being really heavy and I'm not sure when it supposedly got a little better. But
yeah, it's kind of through all that now.
Yeah, the ones I have been really pretty good.
Right. So you're from Utah.
Uh-huh.
How old were you when you moved to Austin?
I was 23. Okay. I had just finished school, and then I moved to Austin in March of 2001.
Oh, wow. Okay. And what prompted the move? Was it purely music?
Yes. Yeah, gotcha. I wanted to live in a music town. Mm-hmm. And I had thoughts of going to Nashville.
Right.
Because I was trying to learn to play some country guitar, do hybrid picking in college. And someone advised me that I should at least come check out Austin. Mm-hmm. So I drove down here in my truck and stayed at the Austin Motel, which then was something like $59 a night.
Oh my God.
And was here for a couple of days, saw some great music, met some pivotal figures in what eventually would be my career.
Yeah.
And decided, I think I'd like to move here.
What did you go to college for?
I studied music
in
college. I got a jazz guitar performance degree at the University of Utah. Okay.
Do you remember, like, at what point you kind of decided that music was the career path you had to have?
Yeah. I suppose I was about 16 or 17. It was high school.
Okay.
Where I had been playing diligently for long enough to where I knew that I really liked doing it, and that it seemed like I could, carve out a bit of a living for myself.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I always wanted to be poor.
I just decided I didn't want to make any fucking money, so I just started to play music.
It's like, how can I deprive myself of many of life's pleasures? I got it.
I mean, sure, yeah, it's, I
never feel satisfied.
That it can definitely be true. From what I understand, talking to musicians, it can definitely be true. But I'm sure you've had some highs in your career as well. Yeah, there've been, and as time has gone on, I've learned to enjoy what's happening more, be in the actual moment, and savor those moments when things really go well. Right. Because there's plenty of struggle, as we all know. Do you have any most interesting stories that happened to you when you were on stage? So you asked that question, and the first memory that came back was one of the most embarrassing notes I ever played in my life. I forget the name of the performer, but this was
at Symphony Hall in Salt Lake City, and I was playing with the Utah Symphony then under the direction of Maestro. I think Keith Lockhart was his name, big name. He conducted the Boston Pops. And it was Pops night at the Symphony, and normally would have been my teacher's gig, but he couldn't do it, so he farmed it out to me, which is the kind of thing that he would do often, whether I was really prepared or not. And I think he believed I was prepared. And the first thing I did was underestimate my time getting to the first rehearsal, so I was actually tardy. And in a symphony, things start really on time, and normally I was punctual. So I had the memory of showing up with my gear and everybody's on stage. And Maestro looks at me and he says, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Yes." And I sat down and set up as quickly as possible. And the performance was the following night. Well, in the guitar part, which was all written out, and I had learned to read pretty good for a guitar player, which means not great. There was a fermata where the singer was holding this beautiful note, and then following that there was a cued entrance. And what I had was an octave C, high on the neck. Yeah. And I was ready during the fermata. I had my note fingered perfectly, and I'm waiting for the maestro's cue. And he drops the baton, and I proceed to play an octave D flat.
Oh no!
I missed it by one fret, and it was my favorite. They're like, "No!" And there was kind of a grimace from the conductor, but they were pros and they all went on. Yeah. And so I've never forgotten that clam that I've made, because it was so, at that time I thought it was so glaring. I think it's been forgotten.
I'm sure it has.
But luckily there were two performances, and the next night I played it correctly.
Nailed it.
And Mr. Lockhart went, he just gave me a little, like, where was that last night kind of look.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite, as they used to call them in the old days, boners. Sour notes, my grandpa would call them, sour notes.
Yeah.
That was a good one. I guess it blocks out all the rest right now.
Yeah. That's understandable. It's always the embarrassing stuff that outweighs the, like, fun stuff for whatever reason. Like, I find myself at, like, it'll be 2 a.m. I should be asleep already, and I'm thinking about that thing I did 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That nobody remembers.
Another funny one was I used to play this, more or less, for lack of a better term, Dixieland jazz gig. I mean, just traditional New Orleans jazz. Because in college, I was made to learn tenor banjo. Somebody needed a banjo player for some gigs, handed me a tenor banjo, which he tuned close to correctly. Should be CDG as CGDA. And showed me about 3 voicings and stuck me on a gig. So from then on, I was able to play banjo in that kind of style sufficiently adequately.
Yeah.
And I used to play Monday nights for a long time at Quality Seafood on Airport Boulevard.
Okay.
We used to just do this kind of old school jazz thing, and I was playing banjo, sitting in with the band that night, and I'm playing whatever we're playing. Insert Dixieland tune, and I look up and I'm strumming, a banjo solo, and I realize I'm playing tenor banjo for Robert Plant, who's just, right where Scott is now behind the camera, trying to eat his dinner, and I'm thinking, so this is my Led Zeppelin moment. Okay.
So you didn't even know until you started to play?
No, I just noticed him there, and I thought the last thing he probably wants is to listen to this, number one, and number two, probably to be approached. So I just played the set and marked it. My Led Zeppelin encounter.
There you go, and just played it cool. You didn't approach him or anything, huh?
No, I wouldn't bother somebody like that.
So, as long as I've known you, you've always, of course you have, like, a very friendly energy about you, but you're also, like, outstandingly well-mannered. And
really?
Like, yeah, I have to wonder, is that, like, was that beat into you as a child? Did it come naturally?
I was encouraged to behave properly by both mom and dad.
Yeah.
But there
encouraged as in
they had
broomstick?
No, it was fear of belt or other.
Right.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't know it was a song at the time, but Loretta Lynn had that hit song called Fist City.
Okay.
And my dad used to ask me if I wanted to go to Fist City. And I grow up in Salt Lake City. I look out my bedroom window and I see, the Rocky Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And 40 miles east is Park City, which is now an obscene place. But, it's an old mining town.
Yeah.
So I had this picture, and I thought Fist City was like in the back corner of our backyard among these pine trees, and it was a place I didn't want to go.
Oh, wow. So you just had this whole image built up in your mind.
Yeah, I had that. Plus, I think I was a natural-born rule follower for the most part.
Yeah.
I had some rebellious phases, but
right.
I'm generally well-mannered except for in private.
Yeah. There you go. That's the best time to not be.
That's right.
Quite literally the best time not to be. Yeah, it's something that's always stuck out to me. It's like, when you work at a guitar store, you get people from all walks of life doing all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting when, a musician comes in, but they handle themselves as, just a well-mannered citizen of society.
I've always tried to appreciate what other people are doing. And everyone has a job to do, especially when they're at work. But
yeah.
It hasn't really... Other than probably causing me to be overall a little too reserved and a little low risk, but I've also had lots of benefits from that.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure fars outweigh the bad there.
It has helped me in my career though, just to learn to be prepared and to be on time. And,
because it can be hard to find in the music industry somebody who values that.
Yeah, I learned really fast that was an integral part of getting hired.
Yeah.
You could
just being on time.
You didn't have to play amazingly, but if you were a solid player and you showed up and didn't cause any trouble, you were going to get work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, speaking of playing, you're talking about, definitely a jazz player, but more specifically, to put it how Scott was saying earlier, swing music seems to kind of be your subgenre there.
Yeah, that I think by and large is probably what I've been called to do the most over time, and I guess that's what it boils down to. Really, classic rock tunes and soul tunes and funk tunes are the things I might enjoy the very most, but it hasn't aligned up with what I've needed to do just to be employed. But I did, having jazz training in school, I found myself going backwards in the history. Mostly because it comes back to your discussion about chords, because my entrance to playing any kind of jazz music was just chunking out the rhythm guitar for a big band or for an ensemble.
Okay.
Seeing is like, okay, this is the guitar's function. And identifying that with that. I mean, that's one of the things the guitar does really, really well. Yeah. And I would find that more and more in older styles of music. And that also influenced my moving here, because in Salt Lake City, before I moved, I was investigating some of these older players and older styles and became vaguely aware of Bob Wills' music. And I realized there were folks around this part of the country who were playing that way. And I think I'd like to get in on something. Yeah.
Surround yourself with who you want to be type situation. I know that you also, you custom build, you're always working on a project.
Those are, I guess, tinkering, except for if tinkering means by definition that it produces a working result, then I'm not a tinkerer.
Well, we have this one right here. This is from you, and it from what I understand, it plays amazing.
This is a really special guitar. This guitar was built by not by me. I picked out a lot of the parts and things. But local builder Chris Bell built this guitar.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hybrid Les Paul Telecaster. I call it the Lester Caster.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so you always seem to have a project going on, and I see you a lot of times when you come into the shop, you're kind of just perusing around, checking things out, and it seems like, you're always looking for the next idea.
Yeah, probably to a fault. I think a lot of times rather than focus on actually improving my own playing, I'd rather just get washed away in some fun distraction, which is, what fret size I should have, or the kind of knobs that should go on my Les Paul. But all that matters.
Yeah. How much more do you enjoy playing a guitar that you put all that thinking, tinkering, and work into rather than a guitar you just bought as is and started playing?
I enjoy it a lot more. Emotionally, there's some, it's satisfying to have finally, thanks to Ben, I finally learned to solder just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have completed, installing some of my own pickups before, and I can do basic setup stuff.
Yeah.
But that's also really important for me, especially as time has gone on, because I developed never a repetitive strain injury, but I've had intermittent problems with real fatigue playing guitars that aren't well set up, or if the action is too high. So I've become very particular about my setups, and that means I have really strong opinions about radius, fret size, and it just kind of has to be a certain way, which is really easy to play for me to be happy and to be able to express myself.
Yeah, it just makes it more fun to play. Yeah, I hear you, for sure.
So I can't really buy, it's a bummer, because most Fender guitars, factory Fenders or Gibsons, aren't quite there for me.
Yeah. That's maybe kind of where Gibson comes into play for you.
Yeah, flatter radius, but I like bigger frets. So.
The other thing I find interesting about you is it's fairly common for a musician to have a bunch of tattoos, but it seems pretty uncommon. You got your tattoo. You got your first tattoo. Was it like in your 30s?
Yeah, I was 30.
Yeah,
that's right.
So you waited quite a while before you decided to buckle down.
Yeah, and I probably would have been almost anti-tattoo. Right before then, or many years leading up, I would have been. No, why would you do that?
What changed your mind?
When I went out on a limb and I got one tattoo, which was this tattoo, which is just some family names, and I immediately liked having that.
Yeah.
Especially playing guitar, you're looking down at your limbs
all the time.
A fair amount. So I thought, well, why don't I have some fun things to look at that also remind me of family and loved ones and so forth.
Yeah, it's like the best reason to have a tattoo.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Where do you draw inspiration from when you're getting a tattoo? Is it random? Is it something meaningful?
I started out coming up with tattoo ideas that all had very specific meaning. And then as time went on, occasionally the thing to do was, no, I just need to get something that's traditional and looks like a really cool tattoo, because I'm now a tattooed person. Like my rose, there's no symbolism behind that.
It just looks sick.
Yeah, I had a space there, and the guy said, well, you can either get an ice cream cone or a rose. I probably should have gone ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Considering how much ice cream I used to eat.
How painful do you find getting a tattoo?
It seems to get worse.
Does it really?
Yes, it doesn't get any better.
Yeah. And is that is it just completely uncomfortable for you? Is there something you find yourself thinking about to get through it?
Often enough, I've been able to just kind of zone out while it's happening. I've always been able to sit quietly. Yeah. But probably never more than 3 hours have I been able to sit.
That's a long time for sure.
Luckily, the day I was getting my elbows tattooed, I zoned out, and all I felt was warmth from the tattoo machine. I didn't feel the vibration of the tattoo machine hitting my elbow.
Wow. Yeah, because that's a painful area.
Yeah, that spot is not good, and there are some others that are not good. My
the inside of the arm.
The ditch. You got close. Yeah. You got right in there is bad. Yeah. And my sternum was really bad. And my stomach was the worst.
I have a weird bony chest, too. I don't know if I could ever do it. I'll have to bulk out a little bit first, maybe.
I should have done that. I was a little skinnier even then too. So that was. But luckily, I had experts who worked pretty fast.
Yeah, that's cool. That always makes it better for sure.
Yeah, definitely worth paying for the best.
Yeah. I mean, it's on your skin forever. You don't want to find the cheapest way possible to get one. Yeah. It's always quality beats that for sure.
Yeah, I've ended up really enjoying having them. I'd probably do it a little different. Not get quite so busy, but I also know that I wasn't gonna,
Well, they look
I had
really
to get
good
it done.
too.
I had to get it done.
Right, and it's interesting because probably because they're more fresh than you would generally see on somebody in their middle age. So like none of the colors really faded or anything.
I've been told maybe it's because I have really Scandinavian roots where people are just extra white. that
It stands out nice.
Things heal nicely in my skin, and most of my tattoos are pretty vibrant, even though some of them are.
Yeah.
That this is almost 15 years old and still reads pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Good stuff. Well, for the next part of the show, we'll do this or that questions.
This or that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So essentially, it's just I ask you one of two things, and the first one that comes into mind you pick. Like, for example, car or truck?
Truck.
Truck. I saw you have a Toyota.
I count my 4Runner as a truck.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, that's pretty accurate.
Okay.
I'm actually wildly jealous of your 4Runner. I've always wanted one of those.
I hope it runs for a long, long time. I just got a brand new transmission.
Oh, jeez.
So let's hope it's on the road.
Yeah, I hope it does for sure.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Alrighty. When you're leaving the house, style or comfort?
Probably.
I could answer this one for you.
It's comfort, but my idea of comfort is probably not that comfortable.
Oh, you always seem pretty well dressed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Even when sometimes you rock like the athletic gear, but even that is working.
I changed my answer to style.
Yeah. That's a better answer anyway, right?
Yes.
Baseball or football?
Baseball.
Okay. Electric or acoustic?
Electric.
You're building a house. You want to put in hardwood floors or carpet?
Hardwood.
Yeah. What about the recording room?
Hardwood? I don't know.
Would that work better?
Well, if you have vaulted ceilings, yes.
Okay. I gotcha.
You can tell I'm not handy.
Yeah. Debit or credit?
Debit.
Gotcha. Finger picking or using a pick?
Hybrid.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to do it. Would you rather watch a TV series or watch a movie?
Movie.
Mm-hmm. Guild or Alvarez?
Alvarez for me.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I like Alvarez. You like crypto or you like stocks?
I have no experience with either. What's a crypto?
Yeah,
Stocks?
It's fake money that people make a lot of real money off of.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Let's say you're going out on the town one night and you put some cash in your wallet. Would you rather it be $5.20s or a $100 bill?
$5.20s.
Yeah. Easier to spend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. When you're hanging out in a group setting, maybe it's outside the venue or whatever, a lot of times if you're in those social circles, some people are going to be smoking cigarettes. Would you rather them be smoking cigarettes or an e-cig?
I think cigarettes.
Yeah. Get that good classic vibe to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never tried either, so.
Well, good on you for that. I
guess a cigarette is more normal.
Uh-huh.
Even though, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a dying culture, I would say, but we'll see. Maybe that outlives us all.
Hasn't it been a dying culture since its inception?
Yeah.
Dang, deep cut.
Yeah. I guess that's pretty true. I guess that's true. In your house, do you care more about the lighting of the room or like the smell of the room?
I guess I would care about the lighting in the room.
Mm-hmm. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Mm-hmm. We're done.
I've only ever had 2 smartphones. One was a hand-me-down iPhone, and I'm still on my second iPhone. Which is 6 SE, which is about 7 years old.
Yeah, then that's a great answer. I like that one. That one works.
I had to be dragged kicking and screaming into the whole smartphone room.
Not into it, huh?
Mm-mm.
What about social media?
I only use it for its
promotion.
But I'm not even good at that. I'm just guilty of a little bit of, the addiction that we all have of wanting to know what's next.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really not big on it.
You're going on a vacation. Would you rather be camping or in a nice hotel in a big city?
I think I'd probably rather be camping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's say you're talking to a romantic interest over the phone. Would it rather be text or on the phone?
Phone.
Yeah. Always works better, right?
Yeah.
Rather read a book or listen to an audiobook?
I like both, but I'd rather read.
Yeah? Get more in depth with it, or?
I think it's just better for my brain.
Mm-hmm. What about cocktails or beer?
Haven't done that much of either. It would have been beer, but I think a nice little cocktail every once in a while is a better way for me to go.
Okay, cool. Last two here.
These are hard.
Last two here. Hot Cheetos or regular Cheetos?
Regular Cheetos. I didn't know there was any other kind.
Really? Flamin' Hot?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like Flamin' Hot or...
Yeah, I said I was a low-risk person, didn't I?
That follows into the food, too. All right, what about laptop or desktop?
Laptop.
Okay, sweet.
It seems, from the outside, as long as I've known you, you don't really tour. Like, you haven't toured much.
Yeah.
You kind of stay more local. Is there any particular reason for that?
I think it's a better fit for me. I think it fits my personality better, and I probably haven't promoted myself in such ways where, the road would be a better option for me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Good question. Good answer.
With the little bit that I have done, it did seem like it was too much time not making music.
Yeah.
It seemed like kind of a rough way to go, but if you pay your dues, then...
For sure.
Sure.
What are your vices, JD?
You gotta have one of them.
I feel it probably is just guitar, but I guess the more conventional vices people.
Coffee is one.
Yeah.
I used to drink way too much coffee. Once I started to learn to like it, which was late. I didn't drink it till in my mid-20s. Other vices. I'm not bad with spirits. I'm a lightweight and a pretty light drinker. There aren't too many. I don't know.
Yeah.
You seem to have natural vices. Right?
I guess so.
There you go.
Awesome. Sweet. JD, I can't thank you enough, man. It's always a pleasure having you in here. It's always a lot of fun. And it was nice to get to know a little bit more about you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think before we let you go, if you don't mind, we can get you to play a quick little something for us.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Awesome, JD. We appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Thank you.